name's Scott Donohoe. I'm the team leader of Firefighter Operational Training. We're out here at Londonderry today where we conduct all of our live fire training. So we train ordinary people, turn ordinary people into firefighters. Show you around a bit now. We'll have a look at some of the areas of our training centre out here. See out here across the yard we've got a number of structures that look suspiciously like shipping containers, but what they are actually is cells. What we use them for is hot fire cells. So in amongst those containers we simulate all sorts of structure fire varieties, such as residential fires, large commercial fires. We do demonstrations such as flashover demonstrations. We'll just have a quick peek in there and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's all very dark and dirty at the moment. If you can see over in the corner there, that's what a set fire looks like. So we light that fire in the corner, and that's what gives us our live fire for training. Okay, so what we've got going on here is we're simulating a live fire training exercise. So one of the instructors is just inside the door there and has just lit the fire. That instructor will stay in there at all times. He's got a line of hose running in there as well. So that instructor will control the fire and make sure that conditions stay the way we want them. We don't want conditions getting out of hand, otherwise that could present a real safety risk. So what we've got here is one of the instructors dressed as a firefighter would be when they pull up at a structure fire. So you can see here, Tim has got his personal protective clothing on, special tunic and trousers, heat resistant. He's got his gloves on here, which give good protection to the hands. Now, around here on his back, you can see this is part of the breathing apparatus that I was talking about before, self-contained breathing apparatus. So underneath this cover is just to protect the cylinder from getting dirty in training evolutions. But underneath this cover, there's a cylinder full of fresh breathing air. Now you can see from the cylinder, the air lines go around here to the front of Tim. They come up, they go over his shoulder, they come up here and straight into the mask that Tim's wearing. So that ensures that Tim is breathing fresh, clean air at all times, even when he's in a smoke-filled environment. Also, Tim's wearing a radio that's plugged into his helmet up here. So there's a microphone underneath, so he can talk to all the firefighters on the fire ground as well, and he can hear when firefighters are talking to him. He's got this contraption here. It's known as a thermal imaging camera. We'll show you some footage from that as we go along. But that's so the firefighters can see inside a smoke-filled environment. They can see through the smoke. There's a gauge on Tim's breathing apparatus here, which tells how much air is in the cylinder, and it tells him when he's getting low on air and needs to be outside the burning building. Also on the side of the pressure gauge, what we've got here is a warning whistle. Now when the contents of the cylinder gets down to approximately 55 bar, the whistle will operate, telling the wearer that they've only got about 10 minutes of wearing time left. So as you can hear now, the warning whistle is operating, telling the wearer that they've got about 10 minutes of wearing time left. He's also got his hard hat on here to protect his head in case anything falls down from the ceiling. So what I just wanted to show you here is this black part on the end of the firefighter's hose. Now this is known as a branch or a nozzle, and it gives the firefighter specific control over how the water is applied to the firefighter. So it's got a pistol grip here. You can see Tim's hand around the pistol grip. It's got the bail arm, this green part, which opens and closes the branch. So you can pull it back. Also, we've got the diffuser here. Now what the diffuser does is changes the spray pattern. You can see there's a straight jet. Tim turns it right around. So you can see how the diffuser changes the spray pattern, and that spray pattern is very relevant to getting the most effective and efficient way of extinguishing the fire or cooling the gases. The ideal spray pattern is about a 45-degree cone angle, which we can demonstrate here if we open it up. So you can see there a 45-degree cone angle, and that gives us the most effective means of cooling the environment, the smoke and the gases up above, and also absorbing the heat from the fire. Also on the nozzle, we've got a flow rate selector here, which essentially controls the volume controls the volume of water that comes out of the hose. Again, it's very important in firefighting as to having the correct setting and the correct volume coming out of the hose as well. Has a direct relationship to how effective the firefighters are in conducting fire attack. So what we've got here is the firefighters. If you think of this as a simulation of a fire truck turning up to a burning building, these two firefighters have just got off the back of the truck and they're about to make entry through the doorway into the building that's on fire. You can see that they've got their hose laid out here behind them, so it's easy to manoeuvre once they get inside the building. So you'll see they'll put a spray of water across the top of the door. That's to make sure that when they open the door, any smoke that comes out of the building will be cool, and it's not because they don't know what's behind that door. So they want to make sure that if there's a raging inferno behind that door, that they're going to be protected once they open the door. They put a couple of pulses inside the door, and that also serves to cool the area just inside where they enter. Now they're working their way inside the building. You would have noticed that they were down very low. That's to keep them below the heat and the smoke that's within the building. The reason we tell public about get down low and go, go, go is because the smoke and the heat is up at the higher levels. So even us as firefighters, we stay very, very low in order to stay below that heat and the smoke. It's also where the best visibility is. So the firefighters are having to manage this hose, drag this hose through the burning building from a crouched down position. As they're going through the building, they'll be what we call pulsing, putting sprays of water up into the smoke. Now the reason they do that is because the actual smoke, when it gets superheated to temperatures in excess of 1,000 degrees, the actual smoke is burning within the building. So as they're working their way through the building, they're putting pulses up and they're cooling that smoke, what we know as gas cooling. So the firefighters are working their way in through the building. This would be the first fire attack crew. As I said, their objective is to get through the building and locate the seat of the fire. And what they want to do is get control of the fire, because by controlling the fire, that'll make the inside of the building safer for other firefighters, and it'll make it safer if there are persons trapped inside that building. So the subsequent arriving fire crews will come in. They'll do very similar to what these guys did. They'll have a line of hose, they'll be gas cooling on their way in, and their objective might be search and rescue. So they want to systematically search through the building, knowing that the first arriving crew has already attacked the fire and are trying to get fire control. The other crews will be systematically working their way through the building, attempting to locate and rescue any casualties, what we know as search and rescue. Once the guys have made entry here, I'll just talk quickly about what they could potentially expect once they've gone through the door into a burning building. That could be anything from a garbage bin alight, it could be up to an inferno, a fully involved kitchen or a bedroom or something like that. An accidental ignition of a blanket that's been left too close to a bar heater can cause potentially catastrophic consequences for the people that are there. A fire that's ignited accidentally from a blanket too close to a bar heater, for example, can advance within a couple of minutes, develop within a couple of minutes to a really raging inferno. So the firefighters have been inside now. They've achieved their objective of fire control. They're working their way out and they've located a casualty. So you look in the doorway here, the firefighters are removing the casualty to safety. They will bring the casualty outside, and in a real life situation, we would take that casualty to a triage area, which is established by the firefighters outside, and then ambulance would be either on site or not far behind.
Yeah, hi, my name's Andy Haag, one of the instructors at Firefighter Operational Training. I've been working here for the last 10 years, and my primary role is to teach new recruits, both retained and permanent. A lot of our work is with the permanent recruits. We get them around the 8-week mark of a 13-week course, and it's around that time where they can almost see the light at the end of the tunnel, but there's still some serious stuff to do. Out at Londonderry, we'll do all the live fire stuff, where if things don't go right, they can get injured. One of the rewarding parts of the job is when recruits come back, or previous recruits come back to us, and they've been to a job and they say that their skill and knowledge helped them to put the fire out really well, and more importantly, save lives. And one of those actually happened, it was his first shift. Pulled an elderly gentleman out of a block of units in a city, and that gentleman was saved. And that's a rewarding thing for not only the firefighter, but for us here at Firefighter Operational Training.
Okay, so thanks for visiting us out here at the Londonderry Hot Fire Training Centre. We hope you've had a good time and you've really got something out of it. Just like to thank Community Engagement Unit and the Fire Rescue New South Wales Media Team. Also my instructors here at Firefighter Operational Training. And remember, smoke alarms save lives. Keep yourself safe this winter. Thank you.